So, being your true self, what does that mean and how do you get there? This could probably take me forever to talk about, but I want to point out some key components and tips when it comes to being your true self. Now, being your true self is being okay with who you are, being okay with the thoughts that you have and the feelings that you have, and feeling comfortable with who you are inside and out. This isn't just confidence. This is deeper than that. This means that you feel like you are fulfilling your life path and life's purpose. You may not even know what your life's purpose is, but think of it on maybe a daily basis. Achievements, your thought process, the way you act, the way you talk even. It can come down to those minute pieces of you that demonstrate your true self. Now, everybody's true self is pure and is beautiful, okay? But many who get lost and get veered off track are not representing their true self. So, for instance, somebody who lies, not being their true self. Somebody who is in a relationship that they know is unhealthy, but they aren't doing anything about it, not being your true self. Causing violence, not being your true self. So, being greedy, not being your true self. So, think of being your true self as being pure, being honest, being transparent, and above all else, and this is my favorite piece, it comes from the Hippocratic Oath, so it's something that I've cherished as a massage therapist, but it's even deeper than that. And the famous phrase is do no harm. Above all else, do no harm. Okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean don't hurt somebody? Okay, well, yeah, physically, you don't want to cause harm on other people. So physically, but we're also talking about emotionally and mentally. The way you talk to people, the way you treat people, right? You don't want to cause harm for them, but also you don't want to be causing harm for yourself. You don't want to be causing physical harm. You don't want to be causing emotional harm, mental harm, spiritual harm. And that basically means is that are you doing something that is self-destructive, whether that be hurting yourself physically or your thoughts, right? The choices you make, whether that be an addiction. So again, do no harm to yourself, do no harm to others, even when it comes down to your thoughts. Now, thoughts are so hard to deal with because thoughts, they seem like they come out of nowhere. And keep in mind too that thoughts are not a part of you, but you can control them. It's very possible. It may not seem like it. A lot of times people want to try to fight and resist their thoughts, though if they don't like the thoughts, that's not what we need to do. We need to actually listen to the thought and ask ourselves why we are having that thought. Why is probably the biggest question that we can ask ourselves in order to dig deeper and understand ourselves a little bit more. Even with understanding other people or situations and circumstances, is asking why. Why? So yeah, we're gonna sound like a 3-year-old being very inquisitive and asking a lot of questions. That is good. We need to ask why very often in order to get answers, and we shouldn't be looking for the answers that we want. That's important. We have to be open to something that we were not expecting, something that we didn't want to know or not want to face, because that is going to help us understand where we sit with that issue, whether it be with a personal issue or an issue with somebody else or a situation. So we should really be asking ourselves why. So being our true self is slowing down, listening to our feelings, listening to our thoughts, doing self-analyzation, and basically before you take that next step, and this is hard because sometimes you're in that moment and you are more apt to react, But the more you learn to slow down and think and listen and feel about, again, about what you're doing, about what somebody else is doing, about the circumstances, you're able to collect your thoughts and make an action that is more true to yourself. And that can take a while. It's like retraining an old dog, but it can be done. It is a job. It is, you are training and you are retraining and reprogramming, so to speak. So it does take work. So that's the one thing you have to remember, is that you don't want to give up. You don't want to slack off. You don't want to half-ass it. You need to follow through with the inquisitive part and the self-reflection part. The other piece to remember when it comes to being your true self is acknowledging when you make mistakes, acknowledging your faults. It's okay to have faults. No one is perfect. No one is prime. No one is like, at the top of the pyramid here. Everybody has their faults. Everybody makes mistakes. And that is okay. That's what makes you you. This whole process of life is a learning experience to grow and evolve and bloom into the person that you want to be. And no matter what, you are going to fall, you are going to stumble, you are going to make mistakes. That's what makes you you. And keep in mind too that with stress is needed in our life. If we think of good stress, or it's known as eustress, good stress we need. So good stress challenges us and pushes us to keep going, right? Whether that be with our work, with hobbies, new talents that we're trying to develop, to going back to school or going to school, from anything. Like, challenges are healthy for us. And so if we can just stay focused and stay determined, these challenges is a healthy stress, and it will be very rewarding physically, mentally, spiritually, if you want to have a spiritual level to this. So be honest with yourself and be honest with others. Be transparent. Do no harm. And again, it's okay that when you're just like, I need to step on the brakes here for a minute, or I need to take a different course, it's okay. When you know something doesn't feel right, then that's time for you to reevaluate. Start asking your why questions and seek those answers. And again, those answers may not be what you want to hear, but those are the answers that you need to follow, as difficult as they may be. Whether that be changing careers, to getting out of a relationship, to changing your thought process even, right? And views. That can be a huge hurdle for a lot of people. It's okay to be vulnerable. And I think that if we become more vulnerable overall, we could see this change in consciousness and change in just society, and how we operate and function and interact with each other. Can we do this? Can we actually be more honest with ourselves? And, when we are faced with issues that seem external, so with somebody else, or a situation, not just having the knowledge about it or being aware of it or understanding it, there's more to it than that, and it's self-reflection. So let's take, for instance, Black Lives Matter. Very important for me, and it's something that 3 years ago I thought differently on, and now I not only understand it, right, and I respect it, and I respect Black Lives Matter movement, and I see what's happening with it. It's amazing. But every single day I am asking myself, why do I care about it? Why do I want to be a part of it? Why do I want to seek change? And of course, the next step is, what can I do about it? Right? So asking these questions are very important, and understanding my position in it and being okay with that is very important. So humility goes a long way. So I keep these tips in mind. I may speak more on this as we go, but if you have any further questions, go ahead and post a comment or contact me. But I hope this gives you a good start for understanding what being your true self is and how to get there. Stay with it. You can do it.